Hello everyone, welcome back to the RedSeaPodcast. Welcome to another relatively more often than usual now early edition, early Saturday. I hope you all have had a good morning up until now, good afternoon if you are watching this later, and any time of day which you may be catching this. Uh, of course, last night we saw very calm victory if you actually manage to exclude that first quarter of not necessarily anything too bad, but that first quarter of the absolute chaos in general and just minimal defending from both sides and a Robinson that decided to turn into prime Steph Curry. But apart from that, you could honestly say that it was a comfortable game once we stepped on the gas a bit. And in general, the game yesterday, at least for me, was deemed a must win, right? For many reasons, you could say it's for the games coming up because we have a very tough schedule ahead. You could say that it's Paris, one of the opponents which we should be not relatively comfortably, but we should be getting the job done against. And a momentum boost as well was needed for some people, right? And we did see some people find form again, with of course the most notable of them being Fournier, but we'll get into that in a bit. Before I really get into analyzing the game, I saw a video before I started, a few minutes before I started, and I want to comment on it. It's from the post-game statements from Tyson Ward last night because completely mistook. He said, and he pointed out something that I personally find maybe not the most important, but as one of the most important things that there are as factors of team success. And that's that, of course, he said that it's different being recognized in the city and he loves it here. But that's not, aside from him finding life easy and nice here, which is, of course, very important as well. I wanted to focus on what he said, that there are great veterans in the locker room. He mentioned that he's gotten a lot of help from Thomas Walkup with a lot of things. Pap, Sasha, Evan, and there seems to be a great mix of roles in the locker room, and they seem as united as ever, right? And that's, for me, that's one of the most important things that there can be in a team in general, no matter the level, but especially at such a high level as Olympiacos, right? And I don't know, it made me it made me extra happy hearing that Thomas is such a respected figure in the locker room. Aside from Sasha, Evan, and of course the captain Papanikolaou, right? But now, getting back and more into the game, in general, I don't think that there can be any general complaints. I don't think that anything specifically was lackluster. Perhaps something that shouldn't have been as even as it was, especially with just that minimal advantage for Paris, was the rebounds. I feel like that's the only thing that can be pinpointed from the game yesterday as something that should have been way more leaning on our side. The rebounds were 38 to 39. Of course, percentage-wise, again, aside from the first quarter, I'm not mad at anything, especially at the threes, where at the end we came out with a better percentage than Paris. And yeah, in general, as a full picture of the game, I'm really not mad with anything. I'm actually very happy with how the performance ended up going because, of course, first quarter we were down 8 with Paris seeming unstoppable and our defense seeming lost. But then, moving forward, the second quarter we almost double scored them, scoring almost 40 in the second quarter. Third one, it was basically even and we locked down the game on the fourth, right? There is a lot of notable performances for a lot of different reasons, but I think the first one that's not just worth getting into, that's a necessity to get into, and that's Evan Fournier. After a lot of games of is he okay? He's still hurt. Is the time management good? After a lot of games of a few questions, not that anyone could really necessarily seriously question Evan Fournier, right? Because I posted it on my story yesterday from a post from Red Center. That quote by Thomas is stuck in my head where he was asked by, I think it was Padeli, but I don't remember, if Evan's struggles are something the team is thinking about, if he thinks that Evan will bounce back. And what Thomas just said was that, come on, man, we're talking about Evan Fournier. And that's exactly the serious answer that you should give anybody that questions such a player. Because yeah, we're all human, right? Everyone's gonna have a dip in their form. Everyone is gonna struggle for some games. Everyone is gonna hit a season low at some point. But as just mentioned, we're talking about Evan Fournier, and he's always gonna prove the doubters wrong, right? He's always gonna do his thing. He's always gonna lead the team when needed, and when it's most important, he'll be right there. And it seems like he's well on his way to back to his best, putting up a great performance yesterday. In 27, he put up 18, 3 assists, and topping that off with 2 steals, being crucial both defensively and offensively. Found his rhythm, and hopefully this was the game he needed as well, because of course the team needs these types of games from Evan Fournier. But hopefully this was the game he needed to consistently be the Evan Fournier we all know and love, right? Secondly, a performance that perhaps once again went a bit underappreciated, just a bit. And that, for me, is Tyson Ward. I don't think that, not necessarily that we wouldn't have gotten the win yesterday, but if it wasn't for what Ward brought defensively first and the explosiveness and the energy that he brought and the confidence that he brought offensively as well, I don't think we would have ever picked up that momentum rush that we did in that second quarter. And God knows how the game could have gone after, right? an insane performance, not only stat-wise, but just eye test-wise, basketball-wise, out and out, right? In 22, putting up 12, 5, 4, and 4 steals, which I think is perhaps the highest we've seen out of an Olympiacos player this season. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't remember a bigger number still-wise. Some very, very crucial threes, some crucial defensive efforts, and everything in between to be one of the main reasons we picked up a much needed, much wanted victory. And for him to still just steadily climb in his performance, right? Because I don't necessarily think that we've seen the best of Tyson yet. As insane as that sounds, I don't think we've seen the best of Tyson yet. And this is gonna sound a bit sacrilegious, but the energy and the confidence and the peace of mind he brings to the game reminds me a lot of Pap. It reminds me a lot of the effect that Papanikolaou has, and you all know the phrase that I've been using for a year and a half now, and that's that if Papanikolaou plays well, then Olympiacos plays well. And I feel like if he's not already there, I feel like Tyson will be molded into that role because he has the leadership qualities. Like we've seen that. And as time passes, God help Tyson stays here. I feel like we'll see a lot more stuff from him than we can even begin to expect. And excited is honestly a word that doesn't even touch 50% of my thoughts about this player and what he can give and bring to Olympiacos. Speaking of underappreciated performances, Thomas Walkup talked about him a bit from the praise he got from Tyson. Talked about him a bit from his energy as well that he brought to the game, setting up picks, shooting threes, laying it up, finding some insane assists, stopping counters, stealing the ball, Mr. Everything last night. There's a reason we call him a robot, and it's not just his consistency and his strength. Thomas Walkup once again, good old, same old Thomas Walkup, putting up 7, 2, and 6 with a steal. And honestly, Thomas once again proving himself to be irreplaceable, right? I don't think anyone disagrees on that statement. I don't think anyone disagrees that Thomas is the undoubtable starter. I don't think anyone disagrees that Thomas brings stuff to the game that no one else can bring. And adding that to the leadership effect he has on the team as well. And I think that is a very, very insane mix of Olympiacos legend, right? I think that's the best way to describe this man. And as much shit as has been thrown his way, and as much shit as he has heard and seen over the years, he keeps proving everyone wrong, and he keeps doing his thing, which helps the team in ways that, as I said just a bit ago, in my opinion, no one else can. I don't think no one else can help the team like Thomas. and I'm hoping he stays healthy. And if we can keep seeing that Thomas Walkup that's everywhere, diving for the ball, stealing the ball, stopping, laying it up, assists, threes, everything. Just that mix of everything he's gonna be very, very important long term this season, in a season that's proving to be not necessarily tricky, but in a season that's proving to be very unpredictable, and where, as things stand at least, most games are must wins. Most games are right there as must win games, like yesterday was, like the games coming up are. And if we can keep getting this Thomas without overworking him to the point where we lose him for another 3 months, I think that's something to be deemed as a perfect scenario, as an ideal scenario, some could say. Another man that had a dominant game, and I feel like his performance kind of proves a point that a lot of fans only look at stats and just completely forget half of what happened in the game. And that's Niko Milutinov. Nikola got mauled last night. But he dominated the paint. He played a solid 20. He scored 7. He picked up 9 rebounds, which 4 were defensive and 5 were offensive, adding to that 3 assists and a plus minus of a very, very solid 18. Niko Milutinov, along with Donta Hall, who had a very similar performance, bringing the energy that I talked about a bit ago with Tyson Ward. Donta putting up a stat line that we need him to be putting up, right? I talked about, I think it was 2 or 3 episodes ago, that we don't need Donta to necessarily match Nico, but we need Donta to be able to come in for as much time as needed, whether that's 10, 20, 25, or even stand as a starter if, God forbid, we lose Nico to injury for a game or 2. And that's exactly what he did. Matching Nico's time perfectly, scored 8, rebounded 7, assisted 1, and had a great block to his name with a plus minus of 13, which shows again that both our bigs can put up the quality that we need them to, and that despite him needing a bit more time to adjust, that Donta deserves to be here, and that Donta is right there. He's right there. And he's not right there when we need him necessarily, but it's what I talked about earlier on in the season, that if he adjusts and puts up stuff that we need him to put up, not necessarily as a starting center, but as a backup center that he is to the best big in Europe, right? Add that to his athleticism, his strength, and his absolute monster physique. We will not only see a walking highlight reel as we have seen up to now, because I swear 50% of this man's points have been dunks. We will not only see a monster on the paint, which we are starting to see. We're not there just yet, but we are starting to see an absolute monster in the paint. And we'll perhaps see one of the most consistent backup bigs that we've seen in the past few years. Aside from, of course, the pairing of Fall and Milutinov, right? Because in my eyes, they both brought a completely different game, and at some point they were both considered starters, right? Aside from that duo, Donta brings stuff that not only match Milutinov's game, but complement it, and he has the insane positive of athleticism that not many bigs have in the league right now. Not many bigs are as athletic as Donta is, which in my opinion, in the absence of the incredible Mustafa Fall, makes up another great and much needed pairing at the bigs. I missed the French packets. This comment is perfect. First of all. Secondly, I talked about that on Twitter last night. For those of you that do follow me, I kind of had a freak out on, on Twitter when Evan started showing up. And I don't think that there is any singular Olympiacos fan that doesn't and that hadn't missed Evan Fournier. And God, am I mad at him for not going up for a dunk? Am I mad at him for not going up for a dunk? He should have dunked that. I know I didn't talk about it a bit ago because I forgot, but he should have dunked that. Now I'm pissed again. But yeah, I don't think anyone hadn't missed a one, right? I don't think there is a singular person that didn't miss those clutch threes, that insanity and that chaos that Evan Fournier brings to the game. Of course, two more people that played a big part were Sasha Vezenkov and Tyler Dorsey, and I want to focus specifically on Tyler because he may not have had the insane performance that he usually does statistically, with him putting up a very solid 12-3 and adding to that 3 steals, having a very, very good game, just not up to his standards this year. That goddamn circus shot at the end made up for everything, in my opinion. Like, I was talking with people throughout the game, and it's literally what I said. He made up for the entire game. So I have watched that play about 10-ish times, and I still don't understand how he turned, pulled back, got absolutely destroyed, and still scored that. I don't know how he did that, but he made up for the entire game with that play. And that celebration on the floor is one of the best celebrations of the year, and you're not changing my mind. You're not changing my mind that celebration on the floor after the end one there is one of the best celebrations of the year. And again, that's proving a point that no matter the game that Tyler has this season, he will always be crucial to the win in one way or another. Tyler, this season, is a man on a mission. Tyler is a man on a mission. And even if he's not putting up 30 like he did the other night, he'll find a way to make sure he has his impact, and is one of the main reasons of Olympiacos winning. He'll find a way. Starting to think that I think Tyler's crazy hair, I'll become the best basketball player in the world. But it's the Afro power. Even though it works for Tyler, but Ward proved to be too powerful, where he can pack up the Afro and he's still mind-blowingly incredible. So it seems to be a specific Tyler Dorsey superpower that comes with the hair. And that's honestly props to Pop as well. I don't want to move on before I mention him because he had arguably one of his most, if not his most, impactful game of the season, playing just 80 minutes and putting up 6 points on 100% shooting, having a rebound and a plus minus of 6. But as always, that's not the most important thing that Pop did, because it's never the most important thing when Pop plays. That comes statistically. Papanikolaou comes in and tidies up the defense in the second quarter. We would not have that dominant of a quarter if Papanikolaou didn't come in when he did. We would not have built the lead that we did if Papanikolaou didn't come in when he did. And that's why the people that are saying he's finished, and that's why the people that are saying that stuff's going on with him need to respectfully, not that respectfully, shut the fuck up and let the captain do his thing. And that's exactly the effect that I talked about with Tyson as well earlier on. Now, moving on from a wonderful victory, we have a very tough string of games now. And we need to be at 1,000% for all of them. PAOK away at the weekend. I said that last show as well. Not worried about PAOK away. Like, we'll win tomorrow. Like, come on. But then, the week of hell. Zvezda away on the 26th. Yes, okay, I thought I was blind for a second, excuse the sudden pause. And then on the 4th, we have Fener. Not a week of hell. I didn't mean to present it as a week of hell. The back games to hell. Tough games. Very tough games. Especially Zvezda away. Do I believe that we'll win? Especially seeing what Fener did. I hope. No, I'll present it differently. If Olympiacos shows up as Olympiacos does, best of the best nights, we'll win both. Because I do truly still believe that when everyone is at the top of their game, we're unbeatable. We're unbeatable when everyone's at the top of their game. But realistically, these are two of the toughest games of the season. And we need to be prepared for everything. We need to be prepared for everything. Then on the 7th, we have Ike, which again, not worried. Then on the 12th, Barcelona away. Then Peristeri, then Valencia. The next few games are going to be hell. The Euroleague is going to change 5 trillion ways. by then. But my closing message, more or less, as always, is that we need to keep behind this team no matter what. Because they deserve it and they'll show it every single chance. We're second right now in the standings. Hapoel standing at 9-3. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Hapoel won't be first for long. I do believe that this team will crumble eventually. Then it's us, Zvezda, and Pana at 8-4. Then it's Zalgiris, Monaco, Valencia, Fener, and Barcelona at 7-5. And then it's Madrid, Milano, and Bologna at 6-6. A lot of games left to be played. A lot of chaos left to be processed. And a long way to go. So let's keep behind this team. Because they truly, truly deserve it. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your night if you've got this later. And in general, I couldn't be more thankful for the support. I truly couldn't. I am gonna now go cover the 5 trillion Erasitechnic games that there are. And can't wait for the football later at Romitos. I said my prediction on socials, I'll say it here as well. I think we'll win 3-0. And I'll catch you all tomorrow, as always, with, I don't know why I turned Spanish there, as always, with a Super League recap of the weekend, late night Sunday. Thank you all so much for the insane support. And thank you isn't enough at all. See you all tomorrow.